Now remember, the National Assembly, so to say, at least as far as the Nigerian system is concerned, is supposed to be independent of the executive. Am I right?
Yeah.
The executive has its own function. The National Assembly does have its own functions.
Very well.
Of course. So, I mean, I think the issue of the president's role does not arise in this matter. But then,
It does.
what I'm saying is that
it does.
because
the president was the first person to
Assembly,
write the EFCC and ICPC on the prosecution of this matter. And the truth of the matter is that
okay,
the
so
president of the federal...
he has actually played his part.
I'm coming.
Hasn't
the
he?
president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria... This, again, I will tie to the lacuna in our constitution and in our laws. Today, as I speak to you, we've written the National Assembly that in the ongoing amendment of the Constitution, the powers of the president to appoint INEC chairman, to appoint the chairman of EFCC, they appoint the chairman of ICPC and the Code of Conduct Bureau, should be taken away from the president.
Okay, so who should appoint these people then?
The National Judicial Council can make recommendation to the Council of State. It is not possible for the president, for example, in the case of INEC, who is like the president is a team playing against other teams, and one of the team now to appoint the referee. There is no way there will not be bias. So what we are saying in essence is that these issues, they are also tied to the lacuna, to the shortcomings and inadequacies in our laws. Today, if the president is interested in prosecuting criminals who have stolen our national wealth, and today what we are subsidizing is not petroleum, is not fuel, what we are subsidizing is corruption. He has the powers.
Mr. Melai,
yeah.
It is not the responsibility of the president to go prosecuting. How many cases will he
I'm not
prosecute?
saying he should prosecute. I'm not saying he should prosecute.
But that's what you just said.
No. The president is not a
If you
judge.
said he
The president
is
not a judge.
interested-
What I am saying is this. What I'm saying is this. You either believe it or not, is the custodian of our law. And what we are talking about here is corruption. For example, the Farouk Lawan report indicted the Ministry of Petroleum, indicted PPRA, indicted NNPC. The Ribadu report indicted NNPC, indicted the Minister of Petroleum, indicted PPRA. The Ike Imokene's report indicted NNPC, indicted some marketers. Today you are prosecuting only marketers.
Small.
You are prosecuting marketers.
Small marketers.
Let me tell you, the marketers.
Well, we have to start from somewhere.
If you allow me to round this up, please.
Okay.
If you allow me to round this up, please. If you see these marketers, they are criminals, they should be prosecuted, but they did not dip hand into the coffers of our treasury. They did not dip hand into our treasury. Somebody in PPRA certified that fuel was imported when fuel was not imported. Exactly. Somebody in NNPC accepted and signed. CBN released this money. A Ministry of Finance paid this money. What is happening to all the civil servants in the chain of approval before eventually these marketers were paid? Today, there is no civil servant that is being prosecuted. And the Minister of Petroleum, even after this indictment, sits every Wednesday in the Federal Executive Council meeting under the watchful eye of Mr. President. And we cannot continue like this. And now we know why the Ministry of Petroleum have no Minister of State. It's the first time in the history of this country that the ministry will have no FCT. Federal Capital Territory, as small as it is, they have a Minister of State.
Okay.
During Obasanjo's time, that ministry had 4 ministers: Minister of Petroleum, Minister of State for Petroleum, Minister of Petroleum Gas, Minister of Petroleum Energy, and Special Advisor on Petroleum, Rilwan Lukman. Today, there is no special advisor, no special assistant, no minister, only one person.
Well,
we cannot continue like this. We can't continue like this.
It's okay, fine. I think we're taking this discussion out of its range.
No, it's corruption. Corruption.
Yes, of course. Corruption. I mean, corruption is...
It's corruption. And it's systemic.
It's a global problem. It's a national problem. But then looking at this matter on its own merit, the issue of what happened in the House of Representatives. Now, the members of the House of Representatives and the National Assembly do not enjoy immunity from prosecution or from investigation.
Very well.
So, how come is it so difficult?
That's what he was saying.
Well, of course, I'm putting that question to you, Mr. Obani. Of course, I mean, we have organs of government that are actually empowered and given the mandate to perform these functions.
That's right. And Chief Ozekome quoted a section of the Constitution that empowers the Attorney General, who happens to be an appointee of the President, happens to be a member of the Executive Council. He does the prosecution of criminals. I mean, suspected criminals.
Well, okay.
And
now, before we even come to the issue of a prosecution, what about investigation in the first place?
Of course, you hear that even
from the EFCC,
from
the police, the intelligence services.
You know, he asked us not to go outside the particular matter we are discussing. That's Farouk Lawan's matter. From Chief Ozekome, you have gotten the information now that the matter has been firmed out to a private law firm for prosecution. You know, you now begin to wonder that police has even concluded an investigation over a long time ago and has returned the report to the Attorney General. What was the delay? What was causing the delay? Did we need the Keyamos of this world? Did we need the reaction of the people before we do the right thing? Because if a government is actually interested in fighting corruption, there must be this, this the hatred for corruption.
God bless
that must be a body language. I'm saying
but
this.
What I'm saying essentially is that
God bless you.
Okay, continue.
Charles, we love this nation. I tell
yes.
you, we stay here, we talk about this thing because we want a better country for all of us, including President Jonathan's children. And my own children. We want a country that all of us shall be very happy, with because we have all the resources. Now, if there is a systemic problem, you tackle it. The best thing to do in this country is for us to do what we call in the medical parlors, proper diagnosis before you do prognosis. In medical parlors, you do diagnosis. Now, if somebody is suffering from HIV, you do a diagnosis and say it is ordinary, headache or typhoid. Now, you will give a wrong prescription. And the man will be dying. Before you know, he develop into a full-blown AIDS, which is what is going on in this country. Nigeria has a problem. Nigeria is sick, but our leaders are giving wrong diagnosis and are prescribing wrong drugs. And as long as you prescribe wrong drugs to Nigeria's problem will keep on developing. Before you know, it becomes terminal. And I'm saying at this point in time that this wrong analysis, wrong diagnosis they are doing with Nigeria is wrong. Now, there is corruption. And we all know that the problem of this nation, for Nigeria to move forward, corruption has been a very big problem. We need to tackle it. There must be this language of the people in government to hate it. The man himself or the top must be very anti-corrupt. He would not like anything corruption. Now, those around him, he will hate them to commit corruption.
Let me come in at this point.
Yes.
Don't you think, Honorable Melaye, that the House of Representatives has a responsibility of actually checking itself? It is from within. It happened from among their rank and file. So it is an internal problem. I don't think it takes the president's intervention for the House of Representatives to come to justice with clean hands.
I'm happy you said these three houses have three different distinctive roles and responsibilities. The House of Representatives cannot do the work of the judiciary. And the powers to prosecute or to ask for prosecution lies in the executive, specifically in the hands of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. And the House of Representatives cannot carry out the function of the Minister of Justice. But what I'm saying is that just like the president made orders recently on the Ali case, though it's superficial, he can also make categorical statements that will energize the Attorney General. That will propel the Attorney General. That will make Nigerians to see the president as a president who is anti-corruption, as a president who wants to fight corruption. But I want to tell you that because the person in question is a personal friend of Mr. President, is one of those who contributed billions of naira anytime there's a presidential fundraising dinner for PDP. Well, it is difficult. I'm coming. It is difficult for the president or the executive arm of government to move at the pace which Nigerians are asking for, because you cannot buy the finger that fits you. And we are saying that democracy is about the people. And if these people are not careful, we are not going to carry arms. But as an agent of change, we are going to push the executive to do the right thing, because ultimately power belongs to the people. We are going to give this government the Egyptian treatment. Farouk Lawan's case will not die. We will not allow it to die, and so many other cases that are on ground. And we are saying those who are in the executive and in the MDAs who also help in perpetrating this crime must be prosecuted. The president is aware.
And those in the National Assembly as well.
Of course, yes, everywhere. Even if my father is involved, go carry him along. What I'm saying in essence is that we saw during Obasanjo's time, when Fabian Osuji, the Minister of Education, was indicted on a 60 million naira bribe or fraud, he was removed by Obasanjo's government. During Yar'Adua's time, the Minister of Health Professor Grej, and his minister and the Minister of State, Professor and Architect Gabriel Aduku, when they were indicted of corruption, Yar'Adua removed them.
Okay.
We remember the former Minister of Internal Affairs.
Yes, of course.
So, but what we are saying is that now ministers have been
examples.
indicted, but the president is sitting aloof, folding his arms, not carrying out any concrete on indicted
All right, now
public officers.
let's even look at the integrity of the report, because actually something was being done. Yeah. Maybe we just got distracted somewhere along the line by that bribery allegation.
You cannot question the integrity.
But of course, yes, and that's the question. Yeah. Is the integrity of the report still intact?
Very intact.
There's no two about it.
Very intact.
Because actually the bribery scandal was probably a distraction. And probably
a very major distraction.
Yes, and probably to also indict the report itself.
That's it.
Are you following me?
Yeah,
that's
because
the purpose.
that's
but
one of the issues Chief Ozekome raised.
What you have in other reports is not different from what's the Farouk Lawan report.
We are saying no, you don't need to. Probably Farouk Lawan developed greed, and he's going to pay for it. He's supposed to be prosecuted, and I'm happy that probably Chief Ozekome is there to defend him. But the point is that there was an allegation of a crime, and so he has to face the court. Also with Mr. Tedola himself. But Tedola should not be excluded in this. No. That's my own point of view. But I'm saying the report itself, there is no issue of integrity about it. I mean, those people who were indicted, they are being prosecuted in a small measure anyway.
Some of them
but there are big ones.
Monies.
But some of them have also returned money. But we are
monies.
saying that even the public officials that were indicted,
that is it.
The NMPC that was asked to return certain amount of money up to this point, they have not returned that money. So if you implement that report, in a selected manner, you are not giving Nigerians the impression that you have bought that report wholesale. So everything about that report should not in any way be indicted. I mean, I'm using it in a very loose form. It should not be indicted. It should be released, and all the recommendations should be obeyed, honestly. And I'll be happy that Farouk Lawan also will face the law. Next time he come into this world, if there is any second time for him, he learns not to be greedy, because actually he collected money. And he went to go and remove this man's name, not knowing that he's dealing with a man that is smarter than he. After removing the man's name, he can't bring back that name. It's not possible.
Absolutely.
And the man now say, at this point in time, I'm not going to give you any money. Okay. And he was pestering his life. It's okay, let me start tapping him. And he tapped him. So the point is this. All right. That report should not in any way be distracted.
Maybe finally because of time.
Yes.
In fact, our time is up now.
As I speak to you.
One sentence.
Okay, thank you. As I speak to you.
And I have to make
as
one
I
sentence.
speak to you,
yes.
The monies that have been, some marketers have refunded. Yeah. Nigerians do not know who refunded what. And how much out of what did they refund
exactly.
what.
Full stop.
We are yet to know that. We are yet to know that.